Welcome back to the Normal Sports Show. My name is Kyle Porter. I'm here with Hayden Martin, and we are going to fully wrap up the U.S. Open, the 2026 U.S. Open. I think I said 2006 on Sunday night. I was punch drunk from being at Shinnecock all week. We're brought to you today by Cobra Golf. We'll talk about kind of some of what they've got cooking here in a little bit. But yeah, thanks to Cobra for sponsoring not only this podcast, but our newsletter and just helping support everything that we are doing right now. So Hayden, you've gotten to sort of decompress from the U.S. Open over the last couple of days, and we're going to kind of dive into, we're going to go through our predictions that we had beforehand really quick. We did this at the halfway point. I want to just touch on those very briefly now. We're going to hand out majors like we always do after a major championship. Is so-and-so going to win one? Is, Rory going to win 15? Like all that stuff. And then really kind of the main event, we're going to get to our 5 takeaways from this U.S. Open at Shinnecock. So how are you feeling after decompressing for a couple of days?
Yeah, it's been good. I think to sit on it, I think it's always good. I'm glad we're doing. I mean, the PGA Tour and professional golf, just like it moves so fast. Like there's just no time to really sit on this much, right? Like it's Tuesday of Travelers Week, and press conferences. We've got a tournament coming up, and yeah, it's kind of nice just to sit back and reflect on the U.S. Open. I don't know how I feel about maybe you trying to keep receipts here and wanting to go back through our predictions from earlier in the week.
No,
I'd be fine if we just skipped ahead. But listen, we made the predictions, so
nobody else does. Yeah, nobody else does this. Nobody is actually going through and going through the receipts. So I thought we should keep ourselves account. We've talked a lot about accountability over the last couple of weeks, so we should keep ourselves accountable. Brian Roloff did have a press conference. We're talking on Tuesday afternoon. He had a press conference this morning, basically laying out the new changes to the PGA Tour. We are not going to address that, not going to talk about that. I do have thoughts on it, and I'm going to write about it. I'll probably do a podcast on it with somebody else, or maybe with you later in the week, but probably somebody else, and just kind of walk through what does all this mean? How does it affect because I think sometimes you get so close to it and you're so in the weeds on it that you're like, I don't know, man. Like, how does this affect my dad? Like, does it? Like, is he even going to notice? Like I don't know. So yeah. I'm gonna bring somebody on to talk about that later in the week, but I'm gonna run through mine as quickly as possible, just so we don't have to parse through all the receipts, and then we'll go through yours, and then we'll hand out some majors. Okay, so the top 3 players in the world will finish in inverse order. I have Rahm first, Rory second, and Scotty third. Really good take there.
Nailed it.
Scotty finished first out of all those. Rory did finish second, and Rahm missed the cut. So that was tough. Brooks will miss the cut, nailed that. The USGA will water the golf course during play, nailed that. That was easy. Jeff Shackelford had that. Go subscribe. If you're not subscribed to his newsletter, The Quadrilateral, excellent stuff. I sat sort of near him, right behind him throughout the week at Shinnecock, and he had all kinds of great rants and takes, and it was a ton of fun. This will be Patrick Cantlay's best chance to win a major. That's a tough take. Yeah, not good.
I also just appreciated that you turned a lot of other people on to Patrick Cantlay this week. I may have already said that, but I think there were some people who may not listen to your next best chance to win a major.
Well, I did cancel it out. I was talking about Sam Burns. When was that? It was at the beginning of. Yeah, it was at the beginning of the week. I think it was last Monday. I said the top 13 performers at the U.S. Open over the last 5 U.S. Opens. And it was Rory, Rahm, Scheffler, Xander, Morikawa, Cantlay, Henley, Hideki, Tom Kim, Sam Burns, Minwoo, Brooks, and Bryson. Yep. And I said, who's going to top me out of Sam Burns this week? And I got some negative feedback on that take. I should have doubled down on it. I did not, but okay. Winning score will be under par. Got that. I think that was that's not really that bold of a take in this era of the USGA. I mean, I reference it all the time, but Garrett Morrison wrote about the sensible era of the USGA and how they're setting up golf courses. And listen, if you're not over par, at Shinnecock on a week when there's wind. I just don't know how many U.S. Opens are going to be winner over par going forward. Like, that's just not going to happen very often.
And I think coming off the back of 2018, I mean, I just think that prediction was most likely going to hit just because of how cautious I think we knew the USGA would be in the setup. So, I mean, to get to +1 in 2018, they had to lose the course, right?
Yeah.
So,
Was Brooks +1 or was he -1?
Was he -1? I thought he was +1. Maybe he's a -1.
Somebody wanted it -1 and somebody wanted it +1. It was, let's see. Brooks was +1. Raymond Floyd wanted it -1. Retief -4. Corey Pavin even. So it's always been around par. But Brooks was +1. Okay, so my next prediction was Alex Fitzpatrick will win Low Fitzpatrick. Alex finished at +5. Matt Fitzpatrick finished at +4. I feel very proud of this selection. I was very close. Alex Fitzpatrick is a good player.
Yep.
Like he's acquitted himself very, very well on the PGA Tour ever since somewhat crookedly getting into a lot of these events.
Listen, I don't know. I think obviously time will tell. I'm curious to see how much of it is he's on a heater versus he's here to stay. I like him. I hope he is here to stay. I think we'll know more. Yeah, obviously, probably this time next year, but it has been very cool to see him playing so well.
Alex Fitzpatrick, number 34 in the world in data golf, just ahead of Patrick Reed, Akshay, Minwoo, Gary Woodland, Keegan, Joaquin Neiman, Keith Mitchell, Jacob Bridgman, Eric Cole, Chris Rysan, and Jackson Coyven.
Pretty good.
And all those guys are ahead of Jordan Spieth. So
all right, okay.
Jackson Coyven will toy with the lead on the weekend. He did not. He did finish. Where did he finish?
+5.
T23 because he tied with Ryder Cowan at +5 for low am. So he was never really a threat to even contend, but he was really good throughout the week.
Yeah, I was just gonna say. I mean, there's a lot of names that he finished ahead of. Rory McIlroy. I mean, you said Jordan Spieth, but got her up. There's just Cam Young. I think he acquitted himself very well. I mean, I think it was more surprising, at least for me, seeing Ryder Cowan kind of not only have like the really good early rounds, but to basically hold on. And it was really cool seeing him birdie 17 to kind of keep it at +5. But less surprising to see, I think, Coyven beat a lot of those names.
Yeah. I sat behind Ryder Cowan's grandparents on my flight back to Dallas, and they were just over the moon, just beaming. Telling people, oh, he was the low amateur. He shot the lowest round ever at a U.S. Open by an amateur.
That's cool.
They were beside themselves. It was awesome. They weren't over the top about it. It was just they were very proud. It was cool. Michael Kim sent out a tweet about Jackson Coyven. Did he play with him on Sunday?
I thought Thursday, Friday. I think they were paired together Thursday, Friday.
Friday. Okay. So he said, I got a lot of questions about Jackson Coyven. He's a tour level player right now, obviously. He's known to be a great putter, I think, but he has a good overall game too. Lots of confidence. He also made some mistakes that many younger pros make. Just way too aggressive on certain approach shots and missing it in places where you're throwing away shots. Stuff I did as well when I played my first U.S. Open. I think regular tour courses he will do very well at. He's a good putter, but I don't think these are the greens to showcase that. He's super aggressive on short putts. No scar tissue yet. Look forward to competing with him for a long time. So I thought that was kind of cool.
Yeah, it's cool.
He does.
It's got a little bit of the. Who was it that like said to Tiger, "You'll see," or just wait? What was it when Tiger was playing?
Yeah, it's Curtis Strange.
Curtis Strange. Yeah,
yeah.
It felt like a little like not saying Coyven's going to be Tiger, but it has a little bit of that like. He'll learn,
Oh, I was in his position once. So were you? Yeah, maybe.
I think it is very cool. Though. Obviously, Michael Kim was a very highly touted AM at Cal too. So I think it's a good perspective from him.
Yeah, yeah. I had something else on Coyven. What was it? I think it really shows you the importance of like when you're coming out of college and getting into the position that Coyden's in, where you're playing all these tour events and majors and everything. What Michael Kim was saying, it shows you how important it is to have like an experienced caddy on the bag who's sort of guiding you through like, hey, who knows you and your game, but also knows the courses that you're playing. And it's kind of guiding you through and saying like, oh, let's maybe not hit that shot right now. And I just think that it's a little bit, I don't know, caddies are maybe a little overrated for me in general in terms of how much they affect the outcome. But I think for younger players like that, they're maybe a little underrated. Just keeping them level-headed, figuring out what shots to hit, knowing the courses that they go to, all that stuff, I think is, I don't know, I think it's pretty important.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm curious, like, you think about guys who were really good out of college and like who are really good players today. Like, sorry, I'm thinking of like Xander and Cam Young, guys who brought like their college teammates. I don't know if that was always true, like when they turned professional, if their college teammates were their caddies, but they are today. But just thinking about like those two guys, like took a little bit longer maybe to get to the level where they are now. Not saying that a caddy would necessarily make that different, but yeah, it is an interesting thing to think about with, what is the role that a caddy does play? I think it's probably more younger.
I think what's interesting about that, I know that Xander had, I think he's had the same caddy throughout. Cam Young has not. He had Paul Tesori, and for a minute, he had a couple other guys, I think, as well. The one that's interesting is Spieth, because he brought Michael Greller, who I don't know if, I was going to say famously, I don't know if this is famous or not, but I believe caddied for JT at the 2010 U.S. Amateur at Chambers, or maybe he caddied for Spieth at the 2010 U.S. There was a connection.
I think it was JT.
There was a connection between, I think that's right, because there was a connection between JT and Greller, and then Greller came over and obviously has been caddying for Spieth forever, but he was a teacher. Like, he didn't have that experience, and then Spieth had this insane success at such a young age. So, that's probably more of an outlier than most guys. My last three, we'll have a score variance of 25 on one of the first 2 days. I think we said it got to 20, which is pretty big spread, but not quite 25. Russ Henley will finish in the top 5. He finished T65. He did not beat an amateur, any of the 4 amateurs that made the cut. So that's tough.
That's tough.
And then Ludwig will ball out. Ludwig did not, in fact, ball out.
He did on Sunday. I was going to ask you if he's just more of a back of the pack kind of guy.
Yeah,
Did he shoot 66 on Sunday?
Yeah, he did. He shot, what did he shoot here? He played well on Thursday as well. 69, 72, 76, 66. So he finished T17 plus 3. It's going to look good on paper. It's going to look good on the Wikipedia page. He was not a contender in this golf tournament, which I thought was pretty disappointing. I don't know. I don't know what to make of it. He's still young enough that not to give out free passes, but you're like, I don't know. Like, he finished T17 at the US Open. That happens. It's not a disaster. I do want him to get one at some point, get a major at some point, because that noise will only be getting louder. So,
I'm curious. I was just going to say, like, you brought up the point with him, just how high he hits it. Like, compared to, like, you were comparing him to Rory, who is obviously a very high ball hitter, but Rory has other shots too. Like, do you feel like Ludwig has like all the shots? Like, I when I think of Ludwig, it's beautiful. I'm just curious, like, when the conditions are as tough as kind of they were at Shinnecock, like, I don't know. I don't know if maybe he has all those shots.
Yeah, it's a great point. I don't. So I don't know. I don't know what the answer is to that. I do think that when you have a very stock, this is probably an unfair way to say this, but a stock swing where you're just like, this is what it is. The whole point of that is so that there's not a lot of variation in it. And so I do think it's probably a little tougher for him to turn something over, to hold something off, or to flight something, whatever. than it is for some other guys. You know, I think about even Scotty's. Like Scotty's swing is so weird that it's almost feely, like as he's getting through it.
Mm-hmm.
That's probably not how he would describe it, but that's like what I'm seeing is that there's a lot of feel to it. And so you're like, yeah, I totally see how he could like, and again, he struggles, I think, a little bit sometimes to hit draws, but it seems easier for somebody like him than for a Ludwig, where it's just like, you know, again, I think Ludwig's swing is beautiful, but it is a little like simple robotic type swing. And I all that to say, like, I don't know that he can hit all those shots. And I think a lot of times, sometimes, dude, I think that's overrated. It's like, you don't need to, there are times when you need it, some wind stuff, but then you look at the flip side of that and it's like tries to hit too many shots.
Yeah.
And so I don't, I'm not, I don't get super wound up in that. He was 39th in approach. That's not that good. He hit it a lot better, I think, at Aronimink. But yeah, I don't know. I think he's just fine.
Yeah. Thinking about wind, really. And a lot of majors, we won't get that. Some we will, but
yeah.
Yeah.
Ludwig's had a really good year. You go back to Arnold Palmer, T3, T5, T5, T21, T4, T8, T4, T17, 39th, and T17. So he's had one finish outside of the top 21 since going back to the Genesis. It's been really, really solid.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go through year 5. You said course will be the star. That was, I think, obviously true. That was not a brave take.
Yeah. I don't think it was the biggest storyline, I will say.
Did you think it would be a bigger storyline?
I thought it would be like the storyline. I think Wyndham for sure overshadowed it with both how well he played and then obviously all the fan stuff. But
yeah,
it's shown in this. It was the star in the sense that like, yeah, we just don't get golf like this very often.
Yes, yeah, totally. You said there will be a significant wave disparity with the winner coming from the early Thursday wave. The winner ended up coming from the late Thursday wave. And man, I was thinking about how there was a wave disparity. I don't know if it was significant, but I was thinking about how crazy, and Burns and I think Scheffler addressed this in their post-tournament pressers, but it's so wild that these guys put in as much work as they do, and then they're affected by 2 hours of fog, and that determines who wins the U.S. Open.
Yep.
Oh, I think we talked about that briefly on Sunday, but that has to be infuriating. That it's like, I don't know, he got not easy, but he got 6 holes in pretty easy conditions on Thursday afternoon, and he took advantage, and that was kind of it.
Yeah. I mean, I think we know that that's got to be very infuriating, especially for Scotty. I think the way that Scotty, how his mind operates, I think how he wants golf to operate is there's a fairness to it, or there should be more fairness to it maybe than there is. Golf is we talk about the outdoor sport thing. There's just so many external factors that really do play a part. I think probably more so than any other sport.
Gotta be, right? I was watching College World Series last night, OU North Carolina, and the OU center fielder was having trouble seeing the ball, and he didn't have his sunglasses on. And part of me was like, just put your sunglasses on. But then the other part, we've been here, is like, sometimes it's strangely harder to see with them on, you know, like there's, I don't know, it's a weird deal. But I was thinking about how it led me down this path of thinking about how like the sun affects the College World Series. And you're like, this is it, but like, this is it also then it led me to thinking about how this is what happens every week on the PGA Tour. Is it the sun or the wind or this tree or that fire ant or whatever is affecting the PGA Tour? I was walking with Tommy, Ludwig, and Rory on Friday. I believe it was either Tommy or Ludwig. I think it was Ludwig. I think he kind of ballooned one out to the right, and it's in the rough in the fescue on number 13. So that's the one that you can kind of drive. Rory drove it either, I think, on Saturday, but Ludwig's out to the right, and I kid you not, and maybe you saw this, there were 25 people stomping around in the fescue trying to find his ball, including me and like another media member. Like because we were literally walking right past it. So I was like, oh, I guess we got to maybe pitch in and help out here.
Yeah.
But think about what kind of advantage that provides over, Christopher Reitan, who doesn't even have 25 people following him, much less inside the ropes. It's announcers, it's all these different people that are inside the ropes with Ludwig and Tommy and Rory. And you're like, a found ball right there could be the difference in winning the US Open.
Yeah. I totally, I mean, I wonder how much of that is offset by like also the distractions that come with that many people following you, noise or whatever it might be. Or in Wyndham's case, fans rooting against you.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, it is kind of crazy what the potential for like fan interaction can have, like, or what that could have, like the impact it could have on the tournament, because it is real and it's crazy.
Absolutely. Okay, you said 3 amateurs would make the cut. This is a great prediction because 4 made it, and the top
4 or
2.
5?
Do what?
Was it 4?
Was it 5? I thought it was 4.
I think it was 5.
It might have been 5.
I might be counting. I think I'm counting Ben James. Yeah. No, it was 5. Yeah, because Eric Lee and Merrick Fleming. And then it was Miles Russell, Koiven, and Callan. So it was 5.
Okay. I was thinking 4. So Russell Henley lost to all 5 amateurs, not 4 from earlier. This is a great call. The amateurs played very well. And man, all year I've been thinking about this sort of vacuum, and we talked about this, I think, a little bit, but this vacuum between age 20 and 26 on the PGA Tour for Americans.
Yeah.
And I don't, you probably got in front of you. I don't know if all 5 of those guys are Americans. I think they are.
I think they are, yeah.
But man, somebody needs to jump in, and maybe it's Koiven, and maybe it's I don't know who it's going to be. Maybe it's Preston Stout. Maybe it's
Miles
Eric
Russell.
Lee. Maybe it's Miles Russell 4 years from now, whenever he turns pro. But I found myself like thinking about that again at this US Open of like, man, I want a 21-year-old Spieth to root for. I want a 20-year-old Rory to root for, and now I'm broadening it from not just American, but global. And you've gotten more of that on the Euro side, but I don't know. We just kind of have this a little bit of a gap there of no young, really, really young super duper stars that are playing in one of the final few pairings at a major championship.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm curious if that's like, I know we've heard it talked about, like, is that like these younger guys, it's harder for these, I guess, like when speed is not less of an advantage, but that just like everybody kind of has it now, right? Because of, I think, where we are with equipment, everybody has kind of caught up and is more, you got Gary Woodland out driving everybody on the PGA Tour, right?
We're going to talk about Gary Woodland. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm just curious, like, do we see, more of a traditional path of like, it takes until your late 20s to really like find your footing in professional golf? We got spoiled, I think, with Tiger. You had Sergio, obviously Spieth, like a lot of these like really young guys that came up and played well early. I don't know. I would be not surprised, but I just don't know that we're going to see that maybe like we did in the earlier parts of the 2000s. So
yeah, I was talking to somebody at the US Open. I honestly don't remember who it was. It was another media member. And I mean, you just have all these different conversations and they kind of all blend together at some point. But Sean Martin brought this up, and this person was saying, like, I really do believe it's these guys came up on TrackMan, and it took, talking about like the Spieth JT, and it took the guys that were 15 years ahead of them so much time to catch up to like the TrackMan decade, like all this stuff that was like sort of, I was talking to Joseph Lamagna about this, and he was like, I totally agree with this idea that because they had TrackMan and all this stuff, it gave them such an advantage that advantage couldn't be overcome by just having experience or having maturity out on the PGA Tour. And now you don't really have anything like that in terms of technology or something that guys like Koivin's age have grown up with. And so you're seeing maturity and experience win out because there's nothing to outpace it, in terms of like providing an advantage for younger players. And so I think Smartin was really good. I thought that was a really smart take by him. And I think it's probably true. I mean, I just ran through the top 50 on Data Golf, Hayden, and I'm probably missing somebody, but I think the only two guys under 25 years old are Akshay and Jackson Koivin.
Yeah.
I think that's it. Akshay is number 36, and he's 24 years old, and Koivin is number 45, and he is just turned 21 years old. That's it.
Yeah.
That's wild.
It is. But, I mean, and it's felt, too. Right, like you've been talking about it, but like you can kind of feel that. Like there haven't been a lot of like new names. I mean, we've heard about guys coming, but it is taking those guys longer to Luke Clinton. We've talked about this, but yeah, it will be interesting to watch over the next couple of years.
I mean, it feels like there's more of your, Gary Woodland types that are like. There was somebody else I had in here too. They're like closer to 40. I mean, Ricky Fowler is 37.
Yeah.
And there's Brian Harmon. It feels like there's more Brian Harmons than there is Akshays. Like a lot more. Right?
Yeah.
And I don't know. That's an interesting kind of subplot to me. Michael Thorbjornsen is number 76, but he's already almost 25.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, we talked about Tom Kim too. I mean, he's fits at under 25, but like his game's kind of fallen off. So I don't know who it's gonna be.
I forgot about young Tom Kim. He is. I don't even know where he's ranked.
He's like 140 in OWGR.
The crooked OWGR.
Mm-hmm.
He's not even low Kim. That would be Siwoo and Michael are both ahead of him. 69th. After his U.S. Open performance.
Okay.
Right behind Eugenio Chikara, who's, again, 26 years old. I feel like these guys that we think are young aren't actually, like, that young.
Yeah. Puig? How old's Puig? 24. Okay.
There you go.
We can stop. He's 45, though. Or no.
Oh, is he 45th?
No, 52. Sorry. So he's right outside of that.
Okay. Okay, your fourth prediction, Scotty will finish outside the top 10. Tough. Do you have anything to say for yourself there?
No. I found myself I like Scotty. I haven't always pulled for him in like every tournament. Kind of depends on the tournament. Like kind of who he's up against and who, you talked about a little bit. Sometimes you enter these Sundays like not knowing who you're going to be pulling for or what, what you want to see happen. That I'm a little bit that way with Scotty. Like I enjoy watching him play, but I don't always find myself pulling for him. Sunday I was very much pulling for him.
Yeah.
He just obviously just couldn't get anything going on Sunday. I think it is just a testament to I don't know if I'd say he had his B or C game this week. I don't know what grade I'm putting his game at. It felt like a B or C entering the week, and again, it looked like that. But for him to finish top 4 or whatever, 4th place, like it just did not look good this week, and he still managed the top 4. So I'll wear that one because the whole narrative around him not being able to win, it just feels like his floor is so high.
Yeah.
It's so high. Because you look at Rory, and it's like, these are the two best players in the world. Obviously Wyndham's playing very well. Cam Young, Fitzy, these guys have these runs that they're going on. But like, I think of Scotty and Rory, but Rory's floor is kind of all over the place. Rahm's floor is all over the place. All these guys. Whereas Scotty just doesn't. I mean, it felt like saying he was going to finish outside the top 10 was a bold take.
It was.
And obviously it was. Yeah.
Well, somebody said this very well on Twitter. I can't remember who. I think I put it in the newsletter for Tuesday night, but Scotty's floor is higher than most guys' ceiling.
Yeah.
And you hear that and you're like, no, that can't be true. But then you're like, okay, is Scotty's floor higher than Laurie Cantor's ceiling? Yes. Is it higher than Harry Higgs's ceiling? Yes. Is it higher than Johnny Kiefer's ceiling? Yes. These are all guys that made the cut at the U.S. Open, by the way. Is it higher than Max McGreevy's ceiling? Yes. Is it higher than Emiliano Grillo's ceiling? Yes. And so you start
Jordan
going down the
Spieth.
list. Yeah, seriously. You start going down the list and you're like, I mean, I think that's true, which is pretty crazy, because I think a lot of times when you have guys with high ceilings, like Scotty's won 4 majors, their floor's not necessarily also high. Like a Rory. I mean, Rory's floor has improved, but for the most part of maybe especially the early part of his career, is pretty volatile. It was kind of all over the place. Now his ceiling's always been off the charts. He has improved his floor, but it's pretty rare that at this stage in somebody's career you would get somebody that has that high of a ceiling and that high of a floor. It's pretty wild.
Yeah. I mean,
okay.
Yeah.
Your last prediction was that the Normal Sports Slide channel will be popping off. It was, again, great. Thanks to everybody who participated. I know a lot of them also listen to this, so if you're listening, we appreciate you guys and just participating in everything we have going on throughout a major week. It's a ton of fun for us, and thank you. Okay, I promised Hayden that we would talk about Gary Woodland, and you're probably wondering why. Well, today's episode is sponsored by Cobra, so that's why. And I wanted to know if you saw the practice round where Woodland hit a drive. I forgot what hole it was on, but then he got his phone out and called, I believe it was Scotty Scheffler and Sam Burns, who he was playing with, to ask them how far back they were of where his drive was. Did you see this?
I did. That was incredible. There's a lot of jokes I know that people use to measure drive distances with their friends. That was a new one. For me, that was fantastic.
It was extraordinary. He also, I believe, took out his rangefinder to see how far back they were as he's calling them. Which is one that I'm going to have to employ at some point in the future. And of course, Gary Woodland was using a Cobra Optum driver during the U.S. Open. Optum drivers deliver incredible stability and unmatched accuracy off the tee. Upgrade your game by purchasing an Optum driver today. Learn more at cobragolf.com. Cell phones sold separately, I believe, and rangefinders sold separately, although you can get one of those at Garmin. So, thanks to Cobra for sponsoring today's show, and thanks to Gary Woodland for providing a kind of an electric moment there. We're already 30 minutes in, so I kind of want to skip the handing out majors and who's going to win how many. We can do that at any time. That's an off-season, fun off-season exercise that we can do then. But I do want to get to 5 takeaways that you had from the U.S. Open. I will start, and we can just kind of go back and forth. We don't have to necessarily go super deep on these, but I did want to just kind of call these out because, they're just things that we thought of or realized during this U.S. Open and wanted to note them. So first one for me, Hayden, Shinnecock and Pinehurst are kind of it for me when it comes to the U.S. Open. Like, I don't think they should go to those 2 locations every other, I think they should go other places, but I am going to be most excited in the near and medium term future when they go to Shinnecock or Pinehurst. And I think Shinnecock's probably I'm not great on golf course architecture. I think Shinnecock is probably more revered by the architecture community, if I'm guessing. Pinehurst is a better fan venue. Just, I don't think that's not like super indisputable, or that's not super disputable. I think that's pretty straightforward. Like, I think everybody kind of agrees with that. But man, those are the 2 places that just absolutely crush for me when it comes to U.S. Opens. Pebble, it's fine. I think the course is a little meh for U.S. Open. Wingfoot was kind of dumb last time, honestly, when Bryson won. Not the course. The course is amazing. It's one of my favorite places in the world. But the way that you have to set it up for U.S. Open, it just it's not It's not amazing to me. We'll see about Marion in 2030. They're going to have to roll the ball back like 5 times by 2030 to be able to play it.
Which isn't going to happen by 2030.
People brought up Oakmont to me because I tweeted this out. Oakmont's cool. I didn't love it last year. And I think the one thing that I kept thinking about in comparing to Oakmont to Shinnecock was how much rough there was around the greens at Oakmont. That's not it for me. And it's fine. It's hard. It's whatever. But I personally, I just don't love that. And I think Shinnecock and Pinehurst are, to me, more interesting and more fun to watch golf at. So that was one takeaway I had from this US Open.
Yeah. I'll bring up one of my points here just because I think it piggybacks off of that a little bit, maybe a little bit different. I do think I love that the USGA has a rota right now that there's a lot of variety. I think when you talk about the US Open, like the United States is a very big place and there are a lot of different golf courses. I don't know if I love I don't think I love the fact that there are only 5 or 6 courses on the rota.
You want more?
I do want more, and I want maybe less often. I just think that, like, I think the variety is I don't know if it's necessary, but I like the variety. I like getting excited about, like, new courses. I enjoy that part where I get super steep on a course like Oakmont last year or Shinnecock this year and like get to see these courses. I'm with you in that what I enjoy. Like I gravitate towards Pinehurst or Shinnecock. And I think a lot of that is exactly what you said. I'm not as into like the hacking it out of the rough. I also think that and maybe this is getting into one of my other points is how much weather does affect like just how we think about these majors. And really how they're remembered, because like I don't know that, I mean, maybe Oakmont will be remembered just as like an absolute slog. But like I have to like kind of think about it. Like I just kind of think, oh, Oakmont wasn't that good. But like when I think about the course and the videos I've seen of the course, like it's an awesome property too. Like I think and equipment is part of this. Like nobody wants to hear us go on about equipment, but how differently would we look at some of these places if they played differently? Where at a Shinnecock, we get almost like some regulation to the equipment because of the weather. We get to see it play differently. But like I thought Aronimink was great, right? At the PGA, it was a different type of test. And we got good wind, we got weather there, but they also have very difficult greens. I don't know. I'm somebody who just loves getting to see like all these different golf courses. So I don't love how small the rota is, but it's also like, am I only going to see Shinnecock 3 more times in my life? Like, I don't know. Like there is like that part of it too, where you have to give somewhere, right? Like either you're going to see more courses or you're not.
Well, that's where I'm at with like, when I say Shinnecock or Pinehurst every year, like I don't know if I probably don't actually mean that, but the fact that it's only once a year and you're like, we're not going back to Shinnecock until 2036.
Yeah.
Like I'll be 50. Like that. I mean,
that is
like
crazy.
I just want to see it be. I mean, to me, it's so. This is my personal opinion. To me, Shinnecock and Pinehurst are so much better than everything else, kind of in that rota. To me, that I wish they would go there more often. I don't know that like that's the best course of action to go to. Certainly not to like listen to me about where to go in golf courses, but to go anywhere more often because they're necessarily better. I think what you're saying is like variety and like spacing things out. Like that makes probably more overall sense. And we'll get to something that Mike One said about that here in a minute. But I'm gonna read you the next. I mean, they've got these out until 2040,
51,
42, 40. Well, I mean, in a row. The next open spot is 2043, but they do have 2050, 2051. That's insane. We got Pebble. I'm kind of out on Pebble. Like, I'll just get ahead of that by 360 days.
Yeah.
I'm not out. Of course, Pebble's cool, but it's just, maybe it's because the tour goes there every year. I don't know.
I was just going to say, I think I'm out on as a USGA venue, or like as a US Open venue.
Yes. Yeah. Because they're going to grow I don't know. I did like it for the women's US Open. So maybe it's more of an equipment thing than it is a PGA Tour thing.
Isn't all of this an equipment thing?
Wingfoot in 2028. Again, I freaking love Wingfoot. It is awesome. Is it awesome for a US Open? I don't know.
Why, when you say it's awesome, like what? Like, why do you say it's awesome? But like not necessarily for US Open.
It's the place that I've been to, and I haven't been a ton of places, but it's the place that I've been to that reminds me or feels the most Augusta-like. Just the way the greens roll into the tee boxes on the next hole, and the way the course plays, and how it's just it's extraordinary to play for somebody that's not great at golf. For a US Open though, it feels like it's moved more toward that Marion vein of like, you kind of got to trick it up a little bit and do some stuff that feels maybe a little bit silly. I don't know. Like, the way it played in 2020 when nobody could hit a fairway, and it was like, well, we're just full send every tee, and you're like, what are we doing? Like, that's dumb. Now maybe they set it up differently and we like it a lot more. I don't know, but it is a very cool place. Pinehurst 2029, Marion 2030 for the 100th anniversary of Bobby Jones winning the Slam. Riviera 2031, Pebble 2032, Oakmont, Oakland Hills in 2034, and then Pinehurst, Shinnecock, Pebble again. That's a lot of Pebble for me. Brookline in 2038. I wish they'd go there before then. I liked Brookline a lot. LACC is back in 2039. Then Marion again in 2040. I mean, Bryson will be driving every green by then. Bryson will be like,
he'll have self-correcting golf club, like self-correcting on the downswing golf clubs.
Pinehurst 2041, Oakmont, Pebble, Inverness 2045. Okay. Pinehurst, Oakmont, Marion, Oakland Hills in 2051. I think that's a Ben Hogan anniversary thing.
25 years.
Yeah.
It's insane.
It is crazy. Okay, let's get to my second one. One of my takeaways, I'm very into what the USGA is selling me. And again, we talked about this a little bit on Friday. I might be getting sold a bill of goods here. Like, I'm not deep in like the USGA world, but the two things, one, I thought Juan, and the way he talked about the golf ball, not the golf ball, but the way he talked about sort of regulating equipment, I was compelled by. And again, I told you this I think it was on Friday last week. Other people I talked to were like so frustrated that it was taking more time and more time and more time. And I totally get that. But it really seemed like he was kind of like he was being very disciplined in the short term because he wanted to, it was like taking a 3-0 slider because you want a fastball, right? Like, okay, you could swing at the slider and maybe you get a hit, maybe you like bloop one over first, but I don't know why somebody's throwing a 3-0 slider, but they are.
Not to me.
And you get it, and you hit it off the end of the bat, and you get a single, you get on. But you're really looking for a fastball that you can hit 400 feet. And I think that's what Juan's doing, is he's taking a pitch right now and he's trying to get a high fastball that he can hit out. And what I mean by that is like roll everything back by a lot instead of just the golf ball back by a little. Now, whether he's able to do that or not, or whether the USGA is able to do that or not, remains to be seen. I personally don't think they have enough leverage or power to really do what needs to be done. But he seems convinced otherwise. So, one, I like that. And then two, I don't know if you saw this, Juan did an interview with The Athletic. Who was it with? I don't know. I'll have to look it up in a second. It was one of their writers. You can maybe look it up. But he did an interview with The Athletic where he talked about how, who was it?
I think Brendan Quinn.
Oh, it was Brendan Quinn. Yes, it was. So he sat down with Brendan Quinn and talked about how the USGA is leaving tens of millions of dollars on the table by going to Shinnecock. And you're like, okay, like tens of millions is pretty ambiguous. And who's, like, where's that number coming from or whatever. Also, I looked it up. 2024, the USGA is 990. They made $294 million in revenue. So tens of millions is it's a lot of money, but it's not relative to like the overall thing. It's not like super, super significant. And I think a couple of things here. Juan is very good at framing things. Like he's good at like framing something in a way that he knows that people like me are going to be like, oh, that's awesome that you're doing that. And therefore other people are going to say, oh, I like the USGA, which is kind of the CEO's whole job, right?
Yeah.
Like that's impressive. So he's very good at framing things. He's very good at talking. But the thing that really struck me, Hayden, was I think that the USGA also feels like they actually have a mission as it relates to their championships. They're saying, hey, our North Star, our guiding light is we're going to go to awesome golf courses. I think he called them the cathedrals of America, or of golf in America. And everything else comes after that. Mm-hmm. Revenue, logistic, all of it comes after that. And you're like, that's kind of rare for a company, any company, but especially in golf in today's day and age. We talked about this with the Masters. Like the Masters this year felt a little commercialized to me. For the first time, it felt a little like we've jumped the shark a little bit here with some of these things. The Masters is amazing. It's extraordinary. I love it. I will always love it. But we talked about the Miz and like the gnomes and all this stuff. And you're like, it's a lot, Yeah. And I think my point there is that it's really hard for a company to maintain a North Star and really adhere to it. And I'm impressed that the USGA is doing that. And whether you think it's I personally think it's a good long-term business strategy. It's not like they're just doing altruism for the sake of altruism. But regardless, I'm impressed that they have that North Star and they're sort of like following it into the future. You're muted.
Sorry. Yeah. It does feel like a much longer term vision than what we have seen maybe in professional golf.
Yes.
Well, especially in the last 5 years, 4 years, whatever.
For sure.
When it comes to competing professional tours. I mean, there's a lot to touch on there. I think just to go back to the equipment piece, I'm with you in the optimistic side of me is that we're taking so many steps back to revisit everything. Like you said, that everything is back on the table. There's part of me that's 4 years is a long time, right? What did golf look like in 2022, right at the beginning of LIV? That was a long time ago. And what is it going to look like 4 years from now? And maybe for the USGA, it's eliminating some of the how loud these players are. I feel like the players have such an outsized voice in all of these debates that we talk about.
Compared to other sports.
Yeah. And compared to and we've talked about golf is so unique in that so many people play golf, right? And are governed by the USGA, right? You and I are governed by the USGA in a way, right? Those are the rules that we follow for our golf league or whatever it might be. And that the rules that the NFL makes doesn't affect me, right? As a just somebody who watches, it's such a weird dynamic.
That's normal sports stuff.
Absolutely. But and the fact I was just so disgusted by the amateurs shouldn't be telling us how to play quote that JT had, like, I mean, in what world are amateurs not essentially creating the rules? I don't know. I am glad that the USGA exists and does govern the game. I do think it should be governed by, amateurs, because that is the majority of what golf is, are amateurs. And
so are you are you pro bifurcation? Is that what you're saying?
Oh yeah, totally.
Yeah. I mean,
or just rolling everyone back. I'm also okay with that. I think amateurs, listen, I love playing golf with you. You hit the ball way too far. I think I hit the ball too far. Like, I mean, if we go play it in Muni, like around here, like I don't hit anything under or I guess higher than like I don't know, 8 iron, 9 iron on a par 4. I don't know. Well, I just think it's.
And it makes sense that, like, I'm for either also. I don't know which one would be the easiest to get through. Yeah, the weird sort of elephant in the room is the OEMs, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And like, okay, what we got to think about what they want. And it's just it is such a normal sport thing that it's not like when the NFL makes a rule for the 2027 year, they're like, we got to call Riddell first and see and Nike and like see what they think about this. You're like,
yeah,
that would be absurd. Like that would be, and it is what makes golf unique, which I love and you love, but I am sympathetic to the fact that those are like real problems that the USGA and these other entities are running into. I'm not saying that they shouldn't be problems. I'm just saying that those are things that are difficult to deal with, and you have to figure that out. But what I was going to say is, like, I agree. I think what you said is really interesting. Like, the point is, like, I'm not good enough to be hitting the ball as far as like, if somebody like me can hit the ball far, like, we should roll everything back because it makes, like, the sustainability, we talked about this before, but the sustainability of all golf courses easier, which lowers the price theoretically. And it just, I don't know. Like, I don't understand the people that are like, you can't come from my 15 yards off the tee. And you're like, what? Like, what are you talking about, man?
Yeah.
Like, you're worried about your 15 yards as you go shoot 94.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, like, it's too expensive for like my kids to go play. Like, it just, I don't know, like that. I don't get that part of it. But it does sound like it sounded like bifurcation was off the table, and now it is very, very much back on, which I think would be also a good solution at the professional, like for the problems that we're talking about at the professional level.
Yeah. Yeah. We'll see what happens over the next couple of years. I think the only downside is, like, I don't think anything's going to change for 5 years. Yeah. So I think we're just kind of on this. We probably should stop talking about it because obviously nothing will change over the next 5 years. So it's just kind of a wait and see, unfortunately.
One other Juan quote from that article with Brendan Quinn. He said, this is a quote from Mike Juan. In our decision process, we put cathedrals at number 1, which
sick.
Bravo. That's a mission statement. That's a North Star. Let's go get it. Where do we want to play the U.S. Open? He was saying that as like that's their sort of North Star. Operations and revenues are not at the top of the list. Also sick. You could argue that's a terrible way to think, but that's what separates. This was sick. That's what separates us from a PGA Tour stop. Which is all true. Like, no lies were spoken there.
Roll up did mention venues today, like on his thing. I am curious if we'll see some of that change for the PGA Tour. That was a sick quote though.
Well, I was texting somebody that was there at the media deal today with Roll Up, and part of their excitement was they were talking about how, like, basically you're going to have 15 regular season events for the PGA Tour, and 5 of them are going to be new. You're going to have 10, you're going to have the 8 signature, 2 extra like current places. I think Rex Hoggard said Torrey and Phoenix probably, and then 5 potential new ones. And so you're like, okay, that's interesting. Is it going to be Doral? Like, that was a new one this year. That sucked. Like, I don't want that. Like, I guess basically, can I trust the tour that they know what the cathedrals of golf of like not just, that's a little tongue in cheek, but also, can they get there? Can you do logistics? Do those clubs even want you there? You know, like that part's hard. It's really, really difficult. And that's probably part of the reason that they're only going to Shinnecock once every, 10 or 12 years. So, yeah, I don't know. What's your third one?
Yeah. I don't even know. Let's see. What have I talked? I've done those 2. Before I get to player stuff, I will just say this is more related. I don't know if it's a Shinnecock thing. I don't know if it's a Long Island thing. The effect that the fans have, I've always thought of that as more of an in-person thing. Like, it affects your in-person experience. I really think that, like, the fans affect the broadcast way more than maybe I thought I did coming into this week. And I think it was, and this is both positively and negatively. Like, when I just think about these events that, like Pinehurst, right? When, like, I'm thinking about US Opens, like, the electricity in that crowd came through in that broadcast.
Yeah.
And when you think about, like, really big tournaments, right? Like, if we think about, like, Ryder Cups, like, what makes that such an awesome viewing experience on TV? Not only the player emotions and, like, the matches, but, like, the fan. Like, just the bursts, the eruptions, like, all of that, I think really, really play, a big impact on the broadcast. And, I know, like, Shinnecock, and you mentioned this, like, maybe it is just like a bunch of ball knowers out here, like people who just really love golf because it's hard to get to, it's hard to get home. It really took away from my experience of the tournament. Both, I think, just what felt like the energy coming from the fans on the broadcast and the negativity coming through, that's been discussed at length on Twitter or Golf Channel, whether or not Long Island deserves another tournament.
Yeah.
Which is insane take. But yeah, I just was more shocked by that.
Yeah, it's a really good take. And I think this was an argument that I was inadvertently making a couple of weeks ago when we were talking about the PGA Tour needing to go to bigger cities or different venues or whatever. And I said, look, like, Doral was a failure. Like, it was awful because of what you're saying. There's no fans there. There was no juice. There was no energy. And we can talk about how important it is to go to cool venues. And I think that is important for the USGA. Man, I think the biggest revenue stream and the most important thing for the PGA Tour is to have an amazing television product.
Yeah.
And if that's at a great venue, then that's a bonus. And now, I'm not saying this is what I want, but I think from their perspective, if it's at a great venue, that's a bonus. But the most important thing is to have juice on site. And I'm like, why not? And there's a lot of reasons to not do this, I realize, but why not just make the John Deere a tier 1 event? You've already got the infrastructure. And look, I'm not like arguing that this should happen. I don't want to see the John Deere necessarily as a tier 1 event, but if television is your most important product, and it is, and your biggest revenue stream, and it is, then you've already got the infrastructure in terms of, like, people going there a ton. And it's especially if there's superstars there, it would be electric. It'd be really, really good. Right. And this is why Phoenix works. Like, this is why the Waste Management, it's like an awesome watch. Partly, I mean, I think the golf course is pretty cool, but partly because it's nuts. It's like the fans there, like, it can be a little too much at times, but that's part of the deal, is like that does come through on TV. And watching Doral and watching TPC Scottsdale are very different viewing experiences. And so I just think that's a massive thing. And I think that's something that the tour really, I don't know, we're talking about US Open takeaways, but it's something that the tour really needs to keep in mind as they pick these cities and pick these venues of like, if that falls flat, like not only is that a failure on site, but it is more importantly a failure on for your television product. Yep. And I think it's a tricky thing for the USGA as well, because you're saying like, we're picking the cathedrals. Well, what if what happens on Saturday keeps happening and they're hard to get to, or people don't want to get there or whatever, and your product starts to diminish because like that's tough. I really sympathize with that particular problem that the USGA might have in the future.
Yeah. I'm coming more around on this. Like I have kind of always thought about like there is a balance there of these large underserved markets. We don't have to get totally into it. The one thing I just want to say is I thought Roll-Up said something really interesting in the press conference. I was trying to find the quote and I can look for it later, but somebody asked him basically about Travelers. Like, will this be a tier 1 event? And he's like, we're still evaluating. The thing about this event in this area is he said something to the effect of like, there's not really professional sports here. And that's something we're looking for. And I thought that was kind of, because when I think of the Travelers, I like one of the most electric moments, right? In the PGA Tour, like probably last 10 plus years, it was when Spieth held out. And the fan, like I think that the on-site fan experience and the way that was such a part of that moment. I mean, he had a great celebration too, but I do agree with you. I'm coming more around and need to give more thought probably to where should these events be held? Because like what you're saying, like should the John Deere be a tier 1 event? It's kind of like, why not? If you have everybody there, I mean, it's not in a great spot on the calendar, but why couldn't it be? I don't know. We can get more into you will get more into the schedule discussion, I'm sure.
Yeah.
But
I don't know if
the fan stuff just for me.
Totally. I don't know if I totally believe that the John Deere should be a tier 1 event, but I think it's an interesting
more
thought
than
exercise. Yeah, totally. 100%. It's a better product. It's not a better golf course necessarily, or maybe it is. I don't think it doesn't seem like it is, but
it's not makes the 5th for a better Florida course.
Yeah, it makes for a better product, which I think it's all that matters when you're, especially for the PGA Tour. I think the U.S. Open, Augusta National, they have different goals and like North Stars, like we talked about, but the product is all that matters for the PGA Tour. Okay, one of mine is, God, mine are so negative. I don't know why I did it like this.
I noticed that.
Rory's never going to win Shinnecock, which is not exactly breaking news, but he'll be 47 next time the U.S. Open's held there. And what it made me think about is at a lot of these places that he goes to over the next 5 years, it's going to be his last kind of run at winning there. Yeah. And he's talked about collecting courses, collecting majors at specific courses. The Open next year, probably it's not going to be his last chance, but I think it'll be his last best chance to win at St. Andrews at the old course. And that's a little bit of there's some probably heaviness there for him. And look, he was never like the main event at Shinnecock. He was never really in it. He was kind of in it on Friday afternoon a little bit. And then was it Friday or Saturday?
What?
When he shot like 41 on the back.
I think it was Saturday, right?
Yeah. So maybe
it was maybe like on Friday.
Let's see here. So Saturday. Okay, Saturday he shoots 33 on the front. I think that's when he got to like 2 under or something like that. So you're like, okay, like maybe and then he shot 40 on the back.
Yeah.
With 5 bogeys, and that was kind of it for him. But
it felt uncompetitive. Like he just kind of lost interest.
Yeah, I agree. And so I guess one of my takeaways is just like the weight of, because like Scotty will have another chance to win at Shinnecock, and Rahm will have another chance to win at Shinnecock. And a lot of these guys that are, not 37 years old will have another rip at it. And for Rory, that's pretty much it to win. Yeah. He won't ever win a tournament at Shinnecock. And, Yeah, I don't know. That was just something that I was thinking about, and one of my takeaways from this particular week.
Yeah, it's a good reminder that I know I need. And majors are so hard to win, and there's so few opportunities for these guys to actually win them. I think it's fun and it's easy to put ceiling numbers and these crazy scenarios, but they're hard to win. So I'm with you. I'll go more positive. I had two maybe more positive takeaways. So I put Wyndham is a killer when he's hunting.
Yeah.
I think I don't know if I realize this, but I think I've thought of his LACC victory as a fluky thing. And I think that this solidified who he is as a player more, knowing that like he's not going to be a Scotty consistent kind of, or even like a Rory, he's probably not going to be this really consistent player that we see week in, week out. Maybe he is more like a Brooks type who just when he gets up for an event and is playing well, like we've seen over the last few months, I think it changed what maybe I think of. I expected him to fade. He didn't fade. He didn't look phased. I know Sunday was a struggle, but it was a struggle for everyone. And there was a lot of pressure on him, both internally and externally. So I don't know. I wouldn't say I'm necessarily like a Wyndham fan. But I came away with a lot more respect for Wyndham than I had going into the week. So yeah, I think it's cool when guys maybe change your mind about them a little bit with the way that they play and the way I think that he handled a lot of things being thrown at him this week.
Yeah.
I thought he handled it better than I expected.
Here's an interesting one. So the numbers back you up. I always like to look at Data Golf has this tool where it's a pressure versus perform. So basically like how you perform in the final round when you're kind of near the lead, and you can sort of filter it however you want. So I like to go to what guys do when they're first, second, or third going into a final round, because I think that's like a different thing altogether. And going into like when he was first, second, or third going into the final round, he had an expected win total of 2.9. And then given how he played after the final round, he had an expected win total of 3.6. So he's raising how many wins he should have based on his play in the final round, which I think tells you like, and Bryson does this too. Bryson has an amazing kind of closing kick. And Wyndham has won 4 of those. So he, one of them was CJ Cup a month ago. One of them was Quail Hollow in 2023. That was kind of when he broke out a little bit. One of them was LACC. And then the other one, and this was kind of interesting because it was actually his second worst final round performance when going in as one of the top 3 guys was Shinnecock.
Yep.
Like he lowered his expected win almost by half. He went from 0.8 expected wins to 0.5 or 0.45. But he hung on to win. So I think all that to say, I think the data really backs up what you're saying there.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I'm glad to hear that because it could have been totally wrong, but at least it felt like that in the moment. I mean, he won the tournament. He kind of won the tournament on Thursday night, and he was able to guide it in. So,
okay. My fourth one is I am willing to start viewing Jon Rahm differently than I have been. I've been pretty adamant about all-time great. Like you guys don't understand. Look at the data, look at the strokes gained. And I don't know. I don't know why this one bugged me so much, but just the miscut from being 2 under after 25 holes, I think it was, it's just, it can't happen, man. Like if you're an all-time great, like that can't happen.
Yep.
And I still am gonna be higher on Rahm than most people. I think he's special, but I'm definitely sort of starting to move to the side where I'm like, yeah, okay. Like I kind of need to see it again. Like that 2023 Masters feels like a long time ago. And he hasn't, I mean, Aronimink was his closest won since then, and he kind of got blasted over the last 12 holes there by Aaron Rai of all people. So yeah, that was one of my takeaways. I'm not wavering, but I'm shifting my position on Jon Rahm a little bit.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been a tough year. I mean, I think you get boat raced by Anthony Kim, you get boat raced by Aaron Rai, and you miss the cut again at now the US Open.
What would you have more believed at the beginning of the year, that Jon Rahm would get boat raced by Anthony Kim or by Aaron Rai at a major?
Probably Anthony Kim. I mean, for being completely honest, at the beginning of the year, I think, I don't know. Both of those scenarios were not on my 2026 bingo card. I'm not as high on Rahm as you are. I know. I like Rahm as a fan of a lot of the Euros. I've always enjoyed Rahm. I won't spend a lot of time on him here, but I just had, like, did you see Shane Ryan's tweet about the World Cup and Jon Rahm?
Tweet of the
probably
week.
One of the funniest tweets I've ever seen.
For people that haven't seen it, it was he screenshotted the Saudi Arabia Spain World Cup score. Spain won 4-0, or they were winning 4-0. And he just said, Jon Rahm's had a tough week. First, he misses the cut at the U.S. Open. Now his team is losing in the World Cup. His country is losing in the World Cup. It was like the perfect amount of, when it clicks into place, it just like, I told my wife, I was like, I don't tell her about anything that happens online, but I was like, this tweet, I got to tell you about it. And I said, I was a little punch drunk and like, I didn't really get it. And then it clicked and I was like, oh my gosh, like, that's so good.
Very much so. That's the last thing I'll say on Jon Rahm, because
people need to look at that tweet. I gotta run here, but what's your last one?
My last one, I'll keep it quick. I'll keep it positive. Actually, I want to go back real quick because I need to give one quick shout. I told my wife I'd do this. Beginning of the week, I was like, I don't know who I'm going to pick for the U.S. Open. She said, why don't you pick Wyndham Clark? Isn't he playing well?
Wow.
And I was like, no, Wyndham Clark's not going to win the U.S. Open.
You don't know anything about golf.
So I meant to say that on the Wyndham Clark part. I forgot to say that, but
that's so good.
I need to listen to her more often. My last one was just we talked about it Friday or Sunday, whenever we did our last pod. Sam Burns. I learned that Sam Burns is I put Sam Burns probably as a tier 2 golfer for me now. I put him outside. I mean, Scotty Rory is tier 1. I think I'm maybe dropping Jon Rahm down to tier 2, but I think of guys like Xander, Fitzy, Cam Young. I think Sam Burns is in that conversation for me now. I think that, I don't know that will translate to more wins, but I will think of him differently in some of these major tests, at least for probably the next year. I know golf is fleeting. Guys can lose their games. He's been a solid golfer for a long time, multiple Ryder Cups now. And I don't think I've given him the credit that he is due. He's another guy I don't necessarily, doesn't do a lot for me in the way that I feel about him. Like, I don't know that I'll root for him, but he's better golfer than I've given him credit for. So,
T13 at the Players, T7 at the Masters, T4 at the Memorial, 2nd at the U.S. Open.
Is that good?
Pretty good year.
Seems
so
good.
far. T6 at Pebble, T26 at the PGA. That was kind of the one. And then apparently, Gabby Herzog reported this for The Athletic. Apparently, he's not going to the Open.
What?
Because they're about to have a baby.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't know if it was his mom that said it. So I don't know if that was like a lost in translation. I don't know, but that was the sort of the report that came out.
Didn't Spieth play in a Ryder Cup the week his daughter was born or something?
I mean, Spieth's a little crazier than some of these guys, but
I think that's pretty crazy. I mean, we don't.
Yeah.
Good for him. I mean, if that's what happens. Also, like, what if the baby comes 2 weeks early? You know, like.
Yeah. I don't know. We'll see, but I don't know that I should probably make a tier or like make a list. I think Burns is probably a 2.5 guy for me, like kind of between tier 2, tier 3, depending on like how big your tiers are matters.
Yeah,
like
for sure.
I probably have one question I was talking to Lamanya about is who's the third best player in the world right now?
Yeah.
You could talk to 10 different people and have 10 different answers, I think.
Yeah.
I would probably go Fitz, but maybe
hard.
Xander.
I don't think I'm putting Xander up there.
Cam Young is a totally reasonable answer. Wyndham. I mean, I don't know.
Yeah. I think it's how you define like your length of time for best golfer. Like
Tommy.
Yeah.
But
who's
you're
playing
right.
the best right now, like this week? I mean, that's a different conversation than who's been the best over the last month or 6 months.
Out of the top 21 guys in the world, 2, 3, 4, 15 are Americans, and we'll get blasted at the Ryder Cup next year. Just obliterated. Okay, my last one. I think the code of conduct rule is going to be a problem in the future. And we touched on this briefly on Friday. This is not a USGA specific thing. The Masters implemented it. I think all 4 majors implemented it. It is adjudicated so subjectively that you're going to run into something that it's like, wait, why did this guy get this ruling and that guy didn't? I don't know. Because part of the problem, Hayden, like when you have an NBA game, all 3 refs are seeing the same thing. You're going to have different rules officials adjudicating different sort of code of conduct penalties for different things. Yep. And they didn't see what this rule, it just, and I'm not saying they shouldn't have it. I just am, I don't know. It's going to provide, I think, some very normal sport moments over the next 5 years or whatever. And I'm that was my take, the Neiman thing, because there's no video. Nobody saw, like, I guess the rules official on the whole saw it, but nobody else saw it. And so you're like, I guess, I don't know. Like it just is such a weird, it's a weird thing. And I don't know. I think it's going to make for I think there are going to be problems with it over the next couple of years.
Yeah. I think they need to implement a yardage, like almost like a spectrum of penalty. If you throw your club more than 10 yards, it's one penalty. If it goes over 25 yards, and I think they measure. I think they have a rules official out there with a tape measure, and he sees how far the club goes, and that's how they should determine how many penalty strokes it'll be. I know Shotgun Start said the Neiman throw was like 70 yards, which is sick.
Which, by the way, I think I told you this. I was on the 7th hole and he was on the 6th hole. This was on Thursday when it was getting dark, and I didn't see it somehow. If I would have just looked up, I would have seen it. I was following maybe the Wyndham Clark DJ group. I think I was actually with the Wyndham Clark DJ group, and I think Neiman was one group behind them, and I didn't, 300 yards that way, or I guess 230 yards that way. Neiman's club is flying through the air. And I didn't catch it. So
I'm with you though. I mean, because think about Sergio at the Masters, like kicking was it Sergio or Rahm? Who's kicking?
Rahm kicked his club this week at the U.S. Open.
Oh, okay.
Sergio did something else. He destroyed the tee box at number 2 at the Masters.
Yeah. I mean, you're totally right. It will, the subjectiveness of it feels very dangerous.
But what do you do if like somebody tries to break a tee marker but misses it?
Yeah. Or even Sam Burns missed that last putt and tossed his putter up. It's kind of like.
Did you see the Wyndham video of him stepping across the ball?
No.
You need to go watch it.
What do you mean stepping? Yeah. I did. I do not like wading into whether or not he's improving. I understand it. Yeah.
He basically is taking practice swings in the fescue, steps all the way across his ball to take a practice swing, 3 or 4 yards on the other side of the ball. And you're like, that's kind of weird. Like, why is he doing that?
Yeah, but it kind of looks like his foot could have been right behind his ball.
Right behind his ball, which is like, potentially mashing down the fescue.
Yeah,
which is it's adjacent to like guys taking 2 clubs into the rough. I was texting with somebody about this on yesterday, and it was like, well, it could be 3-wood or it could be 56 degree. I need to go
that's
check.
That's the Patrick Reed question.
And you're like, what? What are we doing? Why are we taking? So anyway,
I will say, just real quick, just to play the other side here, Wyndham does this in the fairway too.
I know.
In taking multiple clubs with him. Like, I don't know if it was 10. I don't remember what hole it was, but he had like 2 or 3 wedges and he's in the fairway doing it. So yeah, maybe it's just a long game and he's like, I'm going to do this every time so no one catches on. But I will at least give him some benefit of the doubt. He was doing it in the fairway too.
I saw Jackson Coyven doing it in the fairway too. I was like, God, just horrible example that all these. And to be clear, like Wyndham's not the only one. Scotty does, like a lot of people do it. So
yeah.
Okay. I think we can end there. I got to run. I've got all kinds of nonsense to get to, but Hayden, thank you for your time. We will chat again probably next week as we get into your favorite part of the year, coffee golf, European golf, on at 6 a.m., on at 3 a.m. if you want to get up and watch it. So good U.S. Open recap. Thanks to Cobra for sponsoring. Thanks to Shinnecock for being amazing, and we'll talk to you soon.
Shout out to Jason Page too. Great artwork this week. Always my favorite parts of your writing was great this week too, but I very much enjoyed the illustrations too.
Yeah, he's the best. Okay, we'll talk to you later.
See ya.